Well, former Councilwoman Patty Cummings agreed to do this interview with me as long as we could do it here along the water, where she could feel at peace when she apologized to Cape Coral residents for everything that's happened.
Are you entering this plea because you are in fact guilty?
Yes, sir.
Patty Cummings pled guilty this week on charges that she didn't live in the district that she was elected to represent. Why did you accept the plea deal?
I'm just at a point in my life where I feel we choose our battles, and that's a battle that I don't want to fight anymore. My health is very important to me, and this is the battle I want to focus on, is my health and my children.
And she didn't want to focus on the drama that led up to her being removed from office last year. Rather, she wanted to focus on her health because this longtime health coach has been diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer.
A lot of these things go through your head of what is most important in your life. And it's my family and my close friends that have become my family.
A family that she says has been stressed over the last year.
I feel bad because the last year and a half has been very stressful on my children, and I have apologized to them so many times.
Now she's apologizing to anyone who has been hurt, and she says she's moving forward.
I'm sad that things have taken place like they have, and I want to apologize to everybody for all this, the roller coaster ride that we've been enduring for over a year, and I'm just glad it stopped, and it's a new season now.
Much more of my exclusive interview with Patty Cummings ahead at 6. In Cape Coral, Dave Elias, NBC2.
You can hear around 4, and then about a few seconds later, you can hear about 7 more.
A total of 11 gunshots. That's what Nelly Campos was able to hear through her security cameras. But if it weren't for that footage, she would have no idea what was going on next door.
I didn't hear anything last night. It was only when they came to ask me to check my cameras, and that's when I heard some gunshots.
Campos is referring to Lee County deputies. They have been here surrounding and searching this home since around midnight. LCSO says this was a domestic situation where a 22-year-old man broke into his girlfriend's home and then shot her. They say he then turned the gun on himself. Neighbors were the ones to call 911.
I have never heard anything like this in this neighborhood, and I've lived here for 6 years.
I've lived here for 40 years in this exact house, actually.
For Rachel Bepko, hurricanes are nothing new. But with Milton,
this is totally different than anything I've seen come through the area.
Different because this storm appears to have brought a tornado to her neighborhood.
As soon as I started getting those tornado warnings, I immediately went onto your live coverage to see what was going on. And I saw you were the first one to announce, like, hey, here, you got this warning.
With that warning, she took action to keep her family safe.
We hid in the hallway and we were able to cover my children and keep them safe because of you guys.
Surviving the storm, she's just beginning the cleanup process. Right next door,
well, a big 70, 80-year-old tree in big shambles, as you see. It's broken in multiple points.
Andy Iyengar has been in this neighborhood for multiple storms, including Ian in 2022.
The other storms are probably milder when compared to this.
The apparent twister sent this massive limb crashing down on his 1988 Mazda covered in the driveway.
Once these winds die down, where do you go from here?
I don't know.
An air of uncertainty as neighbors on this street wait for the weather to calm down.
At some point, you just kind of have to come to terms with the fact that a cost of living in a tropical environment is that tropical events will occur.
I was watching TV and then I heard some scream out. And then I went out, I saw some people, then I went back again, and then the alarm went off.
It's a very, very sad situation, and I'm scared.
Residents here at the retreat at Vista Lake on Winkler Avenue in Fort Myers came outside to see this. Smoke, firefighters, EMS, and police surrounding their building.
Oh my God!
Wow. You can see just how much smoke was in the air, causing residents to evacuate.
All smoke was coming out. Then flames came out of there. And I got so upset because I know people were in there with their dogs and family.
Fort Myers Fire Department says 4 apartments are damaged from the fire and 14 residents were displaced. Chief Tracy McMillian says crews had to act quickly.
Ladders and engines and getting in there and trying to make sure everybody was safe. Our police department rolled right into their task of actually evacuating while we actually started doing fire suppression and search and rescue.
We asked Chief McMillian what caused today's fire. He said it's under investigation, but told us work was being done on the roof here today.
There was a roofing crew doing torch work, and it appears to where they were doing the torch work is where the fire is. So we have some assumptions, but that's where it's kind of looking at now.
These firemen did a great job. They went up on the hook and ladder, made me want to cry.
It is all going down right here inside of the brew house at Millennial Brewery, where the business is joining local law enforcement and all for a great cause. And trust me, it's one with an interesting name.
Tased and Confused. It's actually a very clever name because everyone knows, cops and tasers. And the Confused, showing that people get confused when they drink. So it's just a good play on words.
It's not every day you hear a brewery partnering with local law enforcement. Today, off-duty officers from Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Sanibel, FGCU, the Lee County Port Authority, and the Lee County Sheriff's Office responded to the call at Millennial Brewery to help make the new Buzz drink for a good cause.
So our event, Law and Order Ball, is going to be held this October, and the whole event honors local law enforcement. And so what we decided to do this year is do something a little more creative, and we engaged a couple breweries to see if they would allow off-duty officers come in and be part of the brewing process.
With a catchy name for a beverage, there's also the message of safety, education, and arrive alive.
Historically, breweries, everyone just went there and drank. Now it's actually become more of a family time. You bring your kids, you have a good time. There's always stuff for kids to do at these events. Over the years, it's progressed into Uber, Lyft, all these, rideshare options. It's not that hard. $40 is a lot less than $13,000 for a DUI, messing up your driver's license, and possibly doing jail time.
For every drink sold of this batch, $1 will go towards local law enforcement and local college police departments.
We want everybody to be safe. So the whole purpose behind this is to have some fun, make some delicious beer, and raise some money for a great organization.
This new drink will be ready to be sold to you just in time for the 4th of July weekend. I'm local at Millennial Brewery in Fort Myers. Lacey Lee, NBC2.
Tell us what it looks like now.
Yeah, Josh, and residents are just now starting to catch a break as that flooding has receded. I want to show you, we are along Almeda Avenue. Lauren and I were driving off McGregor looking for the most impacted neighborhoods, and we came across Almeda Avenue. You can still see that standing water that sits in front of the lawn here. We are on Rhonda's home. I'm going to go ahead and show you her garage so I can show you where that water reached. You could see the water line right here. That's how high the water was. That water went into her garage and went into her home. Rhonda even said insects and worms went in there. She had to throw them out and do damage control here at her own home. Residents here are concerned because this was only a rainstorm. It's not even a hurricane yet. And speaking of hurricanes, Rhonda says she is still recovering from Hurricane Ian.
I can't hardly handle it. There's some worms there. There's worms in the front.
Rhonda Brubaker is cleaning up the mess left behind after days of intense rain this week. Water flooded her property so high up, it leaked into her home and into her garage.
These gas barrels were floating. So then I had the issue, my neighbors were like, you need to get out of this house because if there is a spark, I can blow up.
Fortunately, Rhonda was able to remove the gas cans on time. Her neighbors called her while at work, telling her she needed to come home as water entered her house. She's now left picking up the pieces on her own as her partner passed away only 2 months ago. She says they didn't even get a chance to recover from Hurricane Ian.
Doors, baseboards, paint, our cabinets, we just haven't. Flooring, we haven't finished.
And floodwater wasn't the only thing that invaded her home.
I mean, it's better now, but that septic was all in there. So I have that back window open because it's between the gas leaking in here and that septic. It was bad.
To make matters worse, she says she just got her patio redone last week. She tells me she spent $6,000 for crews to remove trees from her backyard and load in dirt on the ground. I asked Rhonda if she's even gotten any sleep.
Zero. It's awful. I mean, I'm 60 years old, and here I am vacuuming with a shop vac and rolling it to the front door.
Rhonda is not the only one going through these troubles today, but so are her neighbors. They want the county to do something.
I did my part, but the county needs to. This is ridiculous.
And we did see Lee County workers out here today. I did reach out to Lee County as well, and they tell me that they have maintenance crews scheduled to repair that pipe and upgrade it as well. I am local along Alameda Avenue in Lee County. Mercedes Martinez, NBC2.
We are here on Crescent Street right next to Margaritaville on Fort Myers Beach, and just take a look at all of the water we are still seeing out here, roughly about 3 feet, and you can see where cars are still driving through this area here. Now that's something that of course officials urge folks not to do because you don't know exactly how deep this water is. But not only that, take a look, we are seeing where water is going into the garages of the homes here on Fort Myers Beach. So that's definitely an area of flood concern. But let's also take a look at what we were seeing on the other side of Fort Myers Beach here. And we're talking about the storm surge coming in from the beach. And we've also seen a lot of folks coming to the island wanting to check things out for themselves.
I was a little relieved, honestly. I was worried the Gulf is going to be a lot higher. I've seen some pictures overnight where the tides are, I mean, you can see the bay is already coming over. So nothing surprises me after 2022 with Ian. So just be safe and hope for the best.
Mayor Dan Allers, along with town staff and council members, were out here monitoring the Matanzas Pass Bridge, making sure folks are still able to go off and on the island.
Here at the base of the bridge where we're doing the roundabout, it's underwater. Crescent Street's underwater by about 3 feet, so we're urging people to not come to the island. If you don't have to be here, please don't come.
Mayor Allers says he simply does not want folks to run into the possibility of getting stuck. So that's exactly why he's asking that if you do not have to come to the island, do not come until all of this passes. And for now, reporting on Fort Myers Beach, I'm Lacey Lee.